Welcome to Mallet and Michelle. I'm Michelle, and this is Steve. And today's list, we will bite off more than we can chew. We will build Rome in a day, poke a bear with a stick, beat a dead horse, and skate on thin ice.
Damn, how do you come up with these every week? That's really good.
I'm ADHD and I don't get sleep, and
You just lay in bed and think of snappy things to say.
I do. I am a snappy person.
You
anyway.
are a snappy
I'm just
person.
snappy.
Yeah, even when you don't get up at 2 o'clock in the morning like you did this morning.
I'm snappy. Yeah.
Hey, we got to thank our wonderful sponsors. I can't do the show without these great folks.
We cannot do this show without these great folks, right?
Isn't that what I just
yeah,
said?
you did.
Okay.
Deep Eddy Vodka Tasting Room.
The Deep Eddy Vodka Tasting Room will soon be riding off into the sunset, but you still have time to stop by and say hi to the great folks there, including smiling Eustacio, who's in studio today.
As it's trying to get me to log in, I was showing it on YouTube. I'm not putting my birthday on YouTube.
Oh, no, please don't do that.
Absolutely. South Star Bank.
Banking isn't sexy or revealing, but South Star Bank makes it as hot as it can be by offering great loans and top-notch customer service. Stop by any of their Texas locations today.
You just said banking isn't sexy. Depends on how much is in your bank account.
That is pretty sexy.
For
wow,
sure.
There's a bunch of zeros there. That's pretty hot.
You're sexy. Black Slate Construction and Black Slate Roofing.
Storms just rolled through. Tell all those roofers knocking on your door to go away and call Black Slate Roofing today. You'll get an honest assessment of any possible damage. They've got you covered.
Mallet Integrity Team.
You need the best doctor, CPA, attorney, and real estate professional. Don't kid yourself into thinking all agents are the same. Call the Mallet Integrity Team today to find out why they have hundreds of loyal and return clients. That was a lot, and I didn't mess up a single one of those. I'm pretty proud of that.
She's okay. So today on our... Ow! I didn't even get that on video. I should have gotten that on video that you were...
I could do it again. I could throw something at you again.
No, you've already been told that you hit too much, Steve.
I do, yes.
You're going to go to the hitting corner.
I'm an abuser.
For sure. Don't go to the hitting corner. So today on our podcast, we have Eustacio, Lara, and Susan Kimball with the Chamber of Commerce. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. You have both been in here, well, not in this studio, but you've both been guests before, so welcome back again. Susan, you were in here episode 21, which was over 200 episodes ago. Isn't that crazy?
Back when you believed in us, like when you didn't know any better.
Back when you remembered who I was before you were such a big star.
I know. It's hard
Superstars.
because I have all the paparazzi that follow everywhere, and it's like hard to shake hands.
To get in today.
I know, it did.
And your episode has the famous, it's the only one that has the word boobs in it. So
I do remember that.
And Eustacio, you came in episode 100.
Yeah,
so anybody wants to get to know you guys personally a little bit more.
That was a great episode.
Oh, it was great.
That really was a great episode. But yeah, we got a little bit more room here in this podcast room to kind of move around. But so you guys together, you're the dynamic duo. So Susan, you are the president of the Chamber of Commerce, and Eustacio, you are the what is your
I'm the
head?
chair of the board.
The chair of the board, but you were also with Deep Eddy Vodka Tasting Room, which we are all talking earlier. We're kind of all in mourning that Deep Eddy is moving on.
You've been such a staple out here for so long.
I know, it feels surreal. Trying not to think about it too much.
Yeah.
Too sad, too fast.
And
Yeah.
I think this was a business decision for Deep Eddy, and do you want to kind of just fill us in on what's happening?
Yeah, for sure. So we will be subleasing our space starting August 1st of this year to a subletter, Goodnight Loving Vodka. And it really was just sort of a natural fit. We don't own the property, so there was always going to be an end as our lease ended, just kind of like the Chili's on
Lamar, I told her, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
funny. Sign on
I
the
told
door.
my husband about that, and he just lost it.
Oh.
He was like, what? Because we live just down the street, so it's always one of those good ones. Anyway.
Steve didn't know what the big deal was about the Chili's.
I don't really either, but I mean, we pass it all
To
the time.
some people,
Yeah.
obviously, it's a big deal.
It's
Yeah.
super busy. But anyway, so there was always going to be, an end. And kind of like we were discussing at the beginning, the climate in Austin has changed so much. We came out here in 2014. So back in that day, there was no Still Austin.
Yeah.
There was no Fierce Whiskers. There weren't any distilleries in the Austin city limits.
What
so
changed? How come they
the
started allowing them?
regulations changed. I think the regulations softened, and it just became a much more the big scary beast of we're gonna blow up the city just wasn't the case.
And the dollars that it
I
I was
cost.
gonna
let's
say,
be real
I
honest.
bet more
yeah.
so
And
the
dollars.
dollars.
Yeah.
They're like, dang, we're giving up a lot of
100%.
revenue there. We could
We
be
have
spending
insurance,
that.
so there's exclusions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's fine.
the dollars made a big difference. But so yeah, and Goodnight Loving just kind of approached us, and they're kind of where we were back in 2014, operating out of multiple buildings, trying to expand. Being under one roof is tremendously helpful and more cost efficient and all that stuff. So it just kind of worked out.
Yeah.
So it was a 20-year lease, and we were coming up on the end of it, and yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what's the future look like for Deep Eddy in Austin? What's that going to be like?
So we're going to be in the hunt for a new location. We have a team that's going to be designated to kind of sourcing that and finding what that new home's going to be, and a separate team to figure out what that looks like.
Okay.
I'm gonna be like that show Step Brothers. Did you see like where they're trying to move out, and I'm gonna be like bearing the body next door.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Go
barely
back to
bottle
drip.
espresso. So yeah, and then in the meantime, I'm focused on building community outreach, doing some more activations and field marketing work and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I'm building a bigger presence for the brand in Austin. So then when the new facility opens, we kind of have a good foundation.
You think you'll do something like in a Congress location, something real high profile, or you think you'll be maybe a little more off the beaten path?
I sure hope not off the beaten path.
Yeah, you want it to be a destination.
We
right?
want it to be a destination. I think the lesson from Dripping Springs is, as attractions developed in Austin, we became more and more off the beaten path, and it became a bit of an uphill battle from that perspective. So I like the East Side. I love what the East Side is kind of growing into. I like coming in at the ground floor of something, so I think that's a great possibility, but we'll see.
Yeah.
You have been so instrumental, though, also with a lot of the chamber events and stuff like that, and I think that's going to leave a big void, big hole in Dripping Springs, seriously.
Yeah.
So,
Because anytime there's been an event that had more than 100 people, we'll have it at Deep Eddy, and it was just like a natural fit. And we would come to you with stuff, and you were always like, "Yeah, count us in.
Yeah.
Whatever we
I'm
need to
on
do."
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
so
gonna
to
be a
kind
whole-
of shift a little bit now to the chamber, I mean, how soon does this trend? Well, it's ending right in June, July. When is your last day?
The last chamber luncheon in
Yeah,
June.
our June luncheon. I think it's the 17th,
Oh,
which is door prize palooza. So it's always a fun one anyway.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think we're just kind of
Gonna
gonna
give
have
away
a
the
blowout.
furniture.
yeah, give away the furniture.
Couch, and you get a couch.
I want one of those benches that you sit on and your back hurts for a week.
I know.
Can I have one of those?
There's one good thing that is coming out of this is hopefully those benches go away.
So, do you have any
Bonfire.
leads, or where you guys are going to
We're
hold
working on it. We're working on it. It's important to us that we stay central because we want to be, people are coming from work on their lunch hour. So whether it's their house or their office, some people come from Austin, Kyle, Buda, Bee Cave, so the more central we could be, the better.
Yeah.
So we're shopping our options. We've already ruled out a couple.
like the ruled out? We haven't ruled in, but we've
Yeah,
ruled out.
Yeah,
yeah.
ruled out a couple, the pricing wasn't
Yeah.
right. We're not throwing a wedding. We're just doing a luncheon.
Yeah.
It's a great event, but so we're
And
we're
you need
shopping.
something
We hoped-
indoor as well too. that-
Oh,
yeah.
100%.
And maybe parking. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Parking's
Dr.
big.
Adair.
Parking's an issue everywhere. Though,
It is.
It
unless
really
it's
is.
Ranch Park. Honestly.
Yeah, even
Yeah.
with the chamber luncheons, it's if you got there 5 minutes late, it was hard to find a place to
and
park.
it's funny, we offer at the Star Awards, we do a silent auction, and so we auction off VIP parking spots. So people have been able to park in the warehouse, so no matter what the weather is, too hot, too cold, too dry, whatever, they could have VIP parking, and if they were late, it was one of the best things. So now we're gonna have
That's really nice. Well, I want to kind of start from the beginning, just for people that didn't listen to your episode, and just kind of recap, what is the Chamber of Commerce?
So the Chamber of Commerce, not just in Dripping Springs, but anywhere that you live, people think they know, everyone has heard of the Chamber of Commerce, but they don't know, so I do appreciate you asking. Basically, we're just an organization that helps businesses with whatever it is they need. We do a little bit of their marketing.
Whatever? Because I got a lot of questions.
Let me tell you, the list is long of first-time asks or topics. I mean, some of the things that we hear are pretty just crazy. So, but we can help, advocate for certain things. We are big in connecting people, connecting business owner with business owner with client and consumer, different, business to business, things like that is what we really like to do. I love connecting people, so we just sort of serve as that entity that can connect people. A lot of people think we're associated with the city. We're not. They're completely separate, but we do work with them oftentimes on behalf of a business, or if a business calls and says, I'm running into a roadblock, or and sometimes it's just as simple as they don't know the right person to talk to. So we can help them that way, or we can advocate and do some things that way.
The Chamber's kind of grown exponentially, hasn't it? I mean, the first time that I went to a Chamber thing 20 years ago, there was like 14 people there. Now, how many members do you have now?
Right, we have close to 700 members.
And that's insane.
Wow.
Yeah, and for a town, this size, I'm using the air quotes, but it's surprising. A lot of them are solopreneurs. So, we do have a lot of realtors. We have a lot of people who do things they work out of their house, but they have very successful businesses, and so it's just offering a place for them to come together. And the Chamber has been around since 1984.
Wow.
So that's 42 years of just trying to get some traction and growing with the city, because things do change.
Yeah.
So I've heard a little bit of feedback. I was kind of reaching out to some small business owners that I knew, and some feedback what they are feeling the crunch right now. They're starting to see several businesses that have opened and closed on Mercer Street, and then a lot of the growth that is really kind of happening in 78737, the Belterra, Texas per se is what they're kind of saying. But so some of the things I've heard is, and I'll just bullet point these, just go down. Owning commercial property in the historical district is a nightmare. Tax breaks for mom and pop, just like large corps, is what they were wanting, and encourage pop-ups with short leases to bring in traffic. So there's just a couple of little things that I've heard. So do you want to answer any of that about like kind of all the growth that's happening? I know that Target's coming through. I heard, I don't know if this is true, Academy.
Last I heard, that's not slated to happen, but I think once Target does come, and they're scheduled to open in 2028, I think that will open the door. I think we'll catch the eye of a lot of other national brands and retailers that will say, hey, if Target is doing it and they're successful. I think even when Chick-fil-A went in Belterra, other businesses took note and said, well, they always go where there's going to be success. Same with the Starbucks. As much as people don't want to, talk about the big national brands, they don't take chances, and they have a lot of money to do a lot of big, well done research. So I think other businesses will come in. So I wouldn't be surprised if Academy wouldn't be far behind. I think the growth that's happening in 78737 right now is just coming this way. I think it's just, a matter of time.
It's coming out from Austin, the new neighborhoods.
100%.
As from the Chamber point of view, I'll ask you both this. What separates a business that thrives out here from one that doesn't make it, doesn't get through? Yeah, there you go, Susan.
Sorry.
What makes a business thrive?
I think because, and we've all talked about this a lot, but the relationships out here are so important. So if there's a business, say they join the Chamber, that's not enough. Like just paying your dues and then you expect your bottom line to increase and all your marketing's good. that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
You have to put in you have to show up to things. And, we do events different times of the day. So we try to accommodate whether you run a restaurant or you're a CPA or whatever it is that you do. There's going to be some event at some point that works for your schedule. I think if you don't show up and you don't build the relationships, you will not gain the traction that you need. Because, and I say this all the time, people want to know, I'm looking for something. You need to call my friend Eustacio. Deep Eddy Vodka might not even enter in that conversation, but he's, I have this relationship. I trust this person. Go see him. He's going to help you. He's going to set it up for you. You want to buy a house? Go see my friend Steve. He's going to, it's that type of thing. So I think the relationships, you have to put in and build the relationships and not just expect to, put an open sign in your front door or, just exist and expect that it's all
Yeah.
fall
You're
into
the
place.
town's kind of marketing machine, but at the same token, that company or that business needs to also market themselves.
And that's exactly it. I'm going to help you share your marketing plan and your strategies, but we're not your marketing
I was going to say,
arm.
you're going to help them. You're not going to do it for
yeah.
them.
In your business plan, that should
Yeah.
be something that you have, and we can help you get that out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But that's a little
Do
tough.
you see, following up on that, do you see people that start a business now and think that they can just post some stuff on Instagram and Facebook and then that will drive all their business?
Yeah, to their detriment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad, but it is true. It's not as easy as it looks.
And that's, I think so many times people, they're very good at what they do. So maybe they make pies or something and they're very good, and their friends say, oh my gosh, you should go into business and sell these, and they're like, you know what, I should, but they don't have the business acumen to
Yeah.
back it up.
Right.
And it's so important, and I think there's an organization called SCORE, and we recommend them a lot. It's free. Businesses can go to them and get free mentorship and information from whether it's financial,
Service
marketing.
Corps of Retired Executives, right?
Yeah,
They've been around a
Great
long time.
job. They have, and they're such a great resource. And again, free. So I highly recommend anybody, whether you are thinking of starting a business, if you're thinking of sundowning a business, if you're in the throes of trying to make your business thrive, reach out to them. They can absolutely help you. And in our newsletter every week, we have a link to events that they have around the Austin area. So sometimes there's a nominal fee, $20, $30 to
But
go.
you
and
get to rub shoulders with
Yeah.
some people that have been there and done that, been in the trenches. Yeah.
And those are typically workshops where you get to meet people who might be experiencing something just like you're going
Yeah.
through, and so that peer help can be transformative
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a little bit about the fight behind the scenes and some of the things that you do to help these businesses, advocating, whether it's advocating with the city for permits, signs, zoning, fees. That's one of the big things I heard about the sign. Trying to get signage is kind of a nightmare, and push back on policies that kind of choke out small businesses. So how are you, I guess for lack of a better word, lobbying from the chamber with the city?
So I think there is some misunderstanding of what, like the signage and wayfinding, all of that. It doesn't
Yes.
come from hot funds, so I think there's a misconception that, well, they get all this money from hot funds, that should go toward
Hotel occupancy
hotel.
tax.
Sorry,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Acronym.
Oh, I know.
Anti-acronym,
I do it
sorry.
all the time. I
do
know.
too. But so I think there's just a misconception.
I was
about
like,
how
Ho
that-
funds? There's a Ho fund?
But I think there's a misconception about where the funds come from and how that's funded and who it's for, So I think the city gets a bad rap, actually, a lot of times. Sometimes I do think there's chance for improvement, so we can try to put people, put them together and say, can you explain why this takes so long, or who should they be talking to, or things like that can really push that ahead. I also think sometimes, when people pick the location of their business, the wayfinding signs were not there when they chose their location, so, maybe that is something that could be explored before you sign a lease or purchase a property, and look at the traffic on any, if we're talking about Mercer Street, for example, there are some empty properties there right now. Some are just going to be held empty for a while. Some are,
Well, that goes back to what you were
support.
talking about. Somebody's like, maybe they brew beer in their garage, and their friends say, "Man, you should open a brewery." And then they go open a
100%.
brewery on Mercer Street, and they don't know anything about what the lease terms are, and budgeting, and inventory, and all that. And then that tanks them.
Right.
When you talk about the signage, one of the things I wrote down is signage is not decoration, it's wayfinding. And so I think that what I've heard from a couple of businesses, that it's hard, like if they're having a special and they want to kind of drive traffic in, that now they have to get permits in order to get this kind of signage. And so the city is this stopgap, it's this blockage to try to drive traffic, and so
I see the frustration with that. I feel like I know some of the businesses that you're talking about. I think I know that the city just this past week they have something with the merchants on Mercer Street where they meet with them, go over what's happening, and it's a chance for them to have an open conversation. The chamber has been invited to that a couple times. We had leadership day this last time. But there's a chance for them to have a dialogue about that. Again, I don't disagree that finding a way to get people to go off 290 just one block to the north. I totally get that. And, our office is along there too, so we're part of that downtown section. But I think we need food down there. I think we need restaurants, and I think they need to be 70. I mean, these are all pie in the sky things. I know it's harder than that. You have to staff them, and the people have to come, and they have to eat.
well, yeah, because you go to one place on Mercer, and then the other place is closed, and you're just like kind of hopping. Okay, what's open? Why aren't they open? It's a holiday. Why aren't people open?
The city's trying to react. They opened the bathrooms down there, which was huge. Then they were vandalized.
Then they closed them.
Yeah, but I mean that was a good first step, because
For
a lot
sure.
of people would come on Sunday, and some of the businesses say, no, we don't have public restrooms, and then you're down there without a restroom. But I agree with you. There needs to be more destination type stuff, places for, and it's coming. We got
It's
Short
coming, and
Mamas there, and
that's going to be great.
Yeah.
And Roxy's, when it comes, is going to
Roxy's,
be
yeah.
great. And that's
Yeah.
not, the city's not holding that up. That's
No.
just their own internal
Yeah.
thing that they're dealing with. But the plan is for it to still come.
yeah,
And then, retail, there's been some shuffling. We lost Rebel Wild, which was
I know.
too bad, and then Juniper Tree
Juniper
closed
Tree.
and that wasn't because, they just closed. They don't live in the area anymore. So
There were
things
rumors that Mazama's was closing too, because Juniper was closing.
Yeah.
And so,
the rumors.
the good
I
old
want
rumors.
to talk about the signage thing real quick. Being sort of in and out of the commercial world, one of the things that we notice is when they hire new people at the city, and I love most of the people at the city. Everybody I've met over there, they're great.
Which ones don't you?
No, stop it. I don't know them all, Michelle. I don't know them all. All the ones I've met, I like.
Sound it out.
But here's the thing: they hire somebody new, and that new person comes in, and they're like, "I'm gonna prove how much my worth is and how much I know." And then for the first month or two, or maybe 6 months, they make some people miserable because they cross every T and dot every I, and then after a while they go, "Oh, I see how things work in dripping," and then they get a little more agreeable. We saw that with a lighting person very early on when we built this building that we're in right now. They hired a new lighting person, and they changed all these things, and we were like, "God, you're killing us." We had to do all these different studies. I think that happens a lot down at the city with employees. And it happens everywhere. It's not
Right.
just our city of Dripping Springs. So I think there is some things going on now with signs that it's maybe a little more difficult, but I think that will get ironed out.
I think also, though, as far as with with the chamber, I think what they do a good job of is that just one person speaking out, you're just
Yeah.
kind of you're in this
No, I know.
void, and then if the chamber is kind of behind you and the
Yeah.
other businesses are
Is that
behind
what you were going to say?
Well, part of it was that one, I think, going off of what Susan said, the misconception is that the city, it's not kind of insulated. They have committees, they have opportunities to volunteer and stuff. And I think,
Lots of
Yes.
opportunities.
right,
Yeah.
and
within
to
the city
encourage
of Dripping
involvement.
Springs.
Yeah.
If you live in the city
you
of
live in the
city of
city.
Dripping Springs.
I have to clarify, you can live in the ETJ to serve on a committee or a commission,
Mhm.
Oh.
on every single one.
Yeah.
And I
I'm
think
sorry.
I
good
did not know
I
example.
don't think you.
You
I
can't.
don't think you can be on city council.
You can't be on city
Yeah.
council.
But
you
you
can't be in
can-
an elected
You can.
position.
Yeah, you can sit in parks and planning and historic
TERS.
pres, TERS. Yeah, you can sit on
Mhm.
those. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I
there
think-
and there's always spots open.
Yes.
Right, and a good example is the Mercer Street businesses where they collectively work really well to voice their concerns
Mhm.
as a unit, which is helpful. And so I think it's easy to just say, the city, but sometimes the city often tries to advocate for, involvement.
Yeah.
They do have all these committees where you can be a part of and voice your concerns and
I want to be
get
on the
know
HOTAX
city
committee.
officials. Yeah.
That's the way I want to be.
You'd be the chairperson for
Oh,
sure.
be the
I was gonna
HOTAX.
say, you may be on a different
I'm just gonna wear a hat. HOTAX. Do I get to tax hose? Is that what you get to do?
Agriculture.
That's
Write
what
up a business
new
We
rule.
plan.
New rule.
We don't
Just
have
get
no
your business
hose in
plan.
Dripping Springs,
New
Michelle.
rule.
There's no hose in Dripping Springs.
Only the swingers in
Yeah.
Belterra.
Oh God! Stop it! Stop it! God, we're gonna get canceled again. I'm gonna ask you both this. Do you think the big businesses are coming? For example, Target. One question: are they gonna get plugged into the chamber? And two,
Yeah.
do you think that's good for our little community? These big businesses coming?
Well, speaking from the big business
Yeah.
side, we would love it. We would love to have these big businesses because not only the investment, they tend to invest at a higher level, which is often nice. H-E-B is a great example.
Mhm.
Randolph Brooks is another great example. We're a great example.
Yeah.
Yes.
So their investment in the chamber financially,
Helps
means
everybody
a lot.
out.
It helps
Yeah.
everyone. But also carrying their name with us also helps, and just having them at the table, because sometimes H-E-B, speak on them again, oftentimes we'll try and join boards of their chambers, especially for the larger cities, and having them at your table is a good
Yeah.
thing, so it's a great balance, I think, for us, and
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Maybe you could have the chamber meetings in the Target break room if it's big enough.
Yeah.
That's a good
At least coffee.
popcorn.
I was gonna say though, I think too, having Target come, and some people, they're anti-big business.
Yes.
Probably everyone will go in Target because they need a pair
Oh.
of socks or underwear
That's
or
what
whatever
I
it
have
is.
doubt.
said that over and
So,
over.
and I get it. I think the things that are, you just can't dispute, the good things
Mhm.
about it are jobs. It's going to create jobs for people. It's going to take cars off the road traveling on 290 to go into Austin. So
Mhm.
that's just going to alleviate some of that traffic. And I know it's one store, but I think those things are really going to help what's happening here. And I think as they attract, like you said earlier, more businesses see them here and they're going to come, and that will make people's lives easier. Is it going to be the same as it was? No. And I get where that stinks, for a lot of reasons. On the other hand, if the growth is coming, if that helps provide services and access to things without having to leave our footprint, the tax dollars might not go to the city, but they stay in the county, or they, it improves the
It's still
economic
going towards
climate
schools.
of
Yeah.
what's happening
Right.
here. Yeah. And I think that's important, and they hired high school kids for after school
Sure.
jobs.
I've heard also from some of the businesses down off of 290 that some of the ones that have failed, we were probably just 10 years too early. And so, can you want to speak on that? You're nodding your head, Eustacio. Like what?
Yeah, especially with the recent 290 finally opened up,
Yes.
coming down this way, and now it's even cut my drive by almost like 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I think the amount of people willing to come out here with the opening of 290 and how quickly you can get here now really sort of changes the game a bit, in a good way.
Do you
Yeah.
think that
You
would have
know.
saved somebody like a Garbo's, for instance?
I don't.
No?
I don't think so. Yeah, that one's a hard one. That's a little bit of a unique situation.
Mm-hmm.
But for more of those destination places,
Okay.
those kind of unique
Yeah.
spots.
Deep it.
Dreamland may be a
Yes,
better
That's a great
example.
Mhm.
You know, that's a good example of if the draw was easier to get here,
Yeah.
I think that would have been a game changer for places like
Well,
that.
Buc-ee's though will fix that
Yeah.
because you know
And
Buc-ee's is
Walmart.
coming. Yeah.
That'll do it.
That was
Buckmart. It's gonna be Buckmart.
Buckmart. That's pretty awesome. And I think that, you know, back to the 78737, the Belterra area, is that I've heard people say that that is the new Dripping Springs. And because Dripping proper, you have the traffic, the congestion, and just the lack of stuff here. And, you know, like I work here, I work downtown. And if somebody for dinner says, let's eat in Dripping, I'm like, please. I eat every day for
Yeah.
lunch in downtown Dripping, and which I love Pigpen, and we eat at Pigpen probably, I don't know, we ate there 3 days last week, or
Maybe-
Oakwood Market.
Maybe 4. Yeah.
Yeah, we switch between Pigpen and Oakwood Market. But do you feel that you're going to start to see more growth in that 737, and that maybe Dripping proper will suffer a little bit because of the Target?
I personally don't think so. I think maybe temporarily, and I think that may align with 290, you know, TxDOT
When they get off their
doing,
behindies. Yeah.
start the clock.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, that may be a deterrent for a little while, but I think, you know, 12 and 290 remains a big intersection.
Yeah.
I think even when the second high school opens, there's still going to be so much traffic over here. It's, you know, from Wimberley to Bee Cave, you still need to go at some point in this general area
Yeah.
to get from point A to
Well,
point
That,
B.
Steve
that
said
loop
it, though.
road will help. The one that comes through
Uh-huh.
Village Grove.
But that's really so close in. It
Well,
feels
that's
to
true.
us like it's far out, but it's not.
Yeah,
It's really
but I
not.
mean, when it goes up north and continues over to Rancho 12, then you'll be able to come up south, get on that ring road, and go around
Yeah.
and miss all this down. Because you're right, I don't even know how they'll ever fix this intersection at Rancho 12 and 290.
Steve, you've even said, though, from a real estate standpoint, that let's say someone buys a home in Belterra or High Point or somewhere around there just to go to that new high school, that their central area is really going to be that Belterra
Yeah.
area,
Oh, yeah.
and that they won't even have to come
Yeah,
over
I
here.
think that's true. I think there are people that are going to move into Belterra, High Point, and their kids are going to go to Rooster and then
Or
Sycamore,
Sycamore,
and then the new
Cypress.
high school, and they'll never have a reason to come down
I
here.
think, you know, I lived in Belterra for 10 years. When we moved there from Austin, part of the reason we picked Belterra was because it was easy access. Well, first of all, it was for the schools.
Sure.
And then my husband travels a lot. Easiest access from here to the airport,
Mhm.
right? So then we realized, man, we come out of Belterra, I can turn left and go 7 miles and get to restaurants, or
Yeah.
I can take a right and pretty much get to other restaurants.
Yeah.
So you have that decision to make. Now there are things closer there that I think are helping, but the option is still there. Take a left. There are
Mhm.
restaurants down here, businesses. I think Oakwood Market, I was just saying, I was there for lunch and then, back for dinner last
Yeah.
night. So I think there are things here that are more central. You know, people can still come this way, but again, it goes back to the marketing and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Susan, when someone comes into town and they are wanting to start a business, do you have people that haven't even picked that kind of location yet, and they're saying, we just want, where do you think we should start this business? We want to sell widgets. Where should we put this?
Unfortunately, no, they don't ask
Really?
that.
Most
By
of
the
them
time they
are
get to
already
us,
well into the process
they've got
before
that, and then they're trying to get a permit at City Hall, and then we hear about them later on after so many things have happened. You know, we had Chicken Express pop into the office yesterday and said we want to do a soft opening this Sunday.
Golden
Well, it's
Chick.
oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. What did I say?
Chicken Express.
What is it?
Golden Chick.
Golden Chick.
I do know that.
Yes,
That's
Golden
what I
Chick.
meant to say.
We
Well,
knew what you meant,
yeah.
Susan. We knew what you meant.
Anywho, but they came in. They're going to be soft opening this Sunday. Well, guess what? They didn't know about Founders Day.
Oh, yeah.
So
no
I know
kidding.
this will be next week, but this was happening.
Yeah.
What? You know, so you know, we explain. Okay, and
You're
he
so
said, well,
cute.
He said, well, I mean, yeah. Oh, bless your little chicken
Yeah,
heart.
yeah.
They said, you know, he said, well, in the morning it'll be busy in the morning, and Amanda at the office was like, well, no, it's 3 days of busy,
Yeah.
and it's a whole thing, and so just But that's the
Yeah.
first that we talk to somebody sometimes, and it can be that dramatic. Like, they don't even know about Founders Day, but they're going to be
The
serving chicken.
biggest
They're
thing
going
on
to
the
be selling
calendar
their
here,
widget.
yeah, in downtown Dripping Springs.
I'm out of
all year.
town.
Yeah.
I'm out of town.
And I'm roping off every yard that I own in the historic district because people will park right on my lawn if I
Well, and
don't.
with all this rain,
Oh,
Yeah.
I
The
know.
grass will not
Yeah,
recover.
that's true.
Eustacio, when people are joining the chamber, what do you suggest one of the first things that they do?
I suggest that they attend Chamber 101 and the luncheon or whatever the next, look at the calendar and come to the next event. Because you at least know one person, you met me, and those are really sort of your biggest opportunities to network and to meet people and to kind of like bounce back about here, downtown versus Belterra. It's that sort of balancing act where we as a chamber really get to shine, and where we can be the biggest help. And that's connecting people who may not be in the same sector, but they connect and
They complement each other's
commerce
businesses.
connects all
yeah.
the time, you know, and this is where we can help guide established businesses evolve. We just learned today Regenerate's developing this new thing, or developing something, and always changing and always growing. We learned that, at the tasting room. I was going through pictures for our thing that we shall not speak of. And just really kind of looking back and like, gosh, we really just threw everything at the wall. Classes, tastings, cocktails, so it's that sort of ever-evolving thing that we can really help with because we're connected with everyone, so.
I want to circle back real quick. You mentioned the money coming into the area with the businesses. How is the chamber funded?
mainly through member dues, and then we have non-dues revenue through programs like our Leadership Dripping Springs program, sponsorships, the Star Awards, and
But
just
you don't
different
get any
events that
money
we do.
from the city.
No, and we
No.
are a nonprofit. We're a 501c6.
Okay.
A lot of people don't realize that either. So no money from the city, no money from the county. Because we're not a 501c3, we don't qualify for a lot of grants that are out there.
Okay.
If we're looking into starting a 501c3 foundation, probably with our leadership program is something I would love to explore. And that makes us eligible then for grants. But right now, no money comes from the outside. It's
And-
sponsorships and
Okay, and the bigger businesses tend to do those big sponsorships, like
that's what we love.
yeah,
Yeah.
like what, like what's the biggest one? So a Target comes in or an Academy. What's the biggest one that they can do?
I mean, sky's the limit.
Oh, really?
We're always open to, I'm receptive to big
A
numbers.
blank check. Give me that
But
blank
if,
check.
you know,
I'll just
so
fill in the
it
number.
could be whatever, but Deep Eddy is our top. They're our
Okay.
top
Yeah. That,
tier member. Because they pay dues,
Yeah.
and then they also we host so many events there. We had an event, the Young Professionals Group last Tuesday. That was great, and it's just a smaller event. And like you were saying earlier, they have been such a great partner for
Always.
every event, for every
Always.
business, and just really have made themselves available in every capacity. And
know.
it's really going to
you
leave
made
a huge
yourselves
hole.
indispensable, and then you left. What's up with that, Eustacio?
I didn't choose it. I
I'm
was living
sorry.
here.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I want to talk about now. You're talking 700 members, and we talked a little bit about this with Randy last week. Managing 700 members with 700 different agendas and ideas and beliefs, and how is it managing all of that?
This is the time to call him out.
Give us a list.
Well, number one, stay neutral.
Yeah.
And I think you appreciate that. Like, it's because everybody, whatever they come to the table with, they have something to offer. And friendships and relationships, it doesn't matter. You can decide in your personal life what you want to do with those things. As a chamber, it's not our job to really care about that stuff. Now, if somebody's doing egregious, horrible things, like, we don't accept murderers as
People
chamber
walking around
members.
with hoe tacks.
Yeah,
hats on.
they're on probation first.
Can't be a murderer and can't be a hoe. Is that I was looking in the member requirements. I didn't see that
Yeah.
in there, but now I'm gonna.
We have a meeting
I-
next week.
I
we
think-
can add that.
I think you should.
Have you kicked people out for egregious behavior? And you don't have to name names, please.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But we do have there's one entity, I will say, they would not be allowed back.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's got to be hard to.
This one's not hard.
Oh well, okay.
Because
Well, I don't have any idea what they
and
did.
It's
It's egregious.
not cool.
Yeah.
It's egregious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the answer is no. I mean, and it's fine.
Has
Yeah.
anybody come to you, and I know we're in kind of little Bible Belt right outside of Austin, but has anybody come to you and wanted to have any type of adult entertainment, whether a retail store or in the history of the chamber?
No,
Because it's
there
been threatened.
there
I've
A
was
heard.
hoe
Mercer
store?
Street.
A hoe tax
Remember
store.
on Mercer Street?
Yeah.
And I think that was even before I was at
Uh-huh.
the chamber, but it was due to their proximity to
The
The
school or the
school.
church. Maybe it was the church because the Baptist church was across the street from
But
it.
I think
Maybe
you
I don't
can
remember.
have a liquor store by a church or
Yeah.
whatever.
But can you have a hoe store? But can you have a,
TBD.
okay, so
TBD.
I'm gonna shift. So what in the Dripping Springs model, is there a town that we would know of that you guys try to model after? Whether it's now Bernie, I really love Bernie, but they have the water. I love Wimberley, but they also have the water. And so a lot of these, they have another attraction that will draw people to. I feel like Dripping Springs, we don't really have that. I mean, it's like, okay, we've got Mercer, but what?
There's a phrase in the chamber world and probably in lots of worlds, but if you've seen one chamber, you've seen one chamber. Each community
Oh.
is so different. We sort of speak the same language. I'm part of a group. We meet once a month, and it's a national group of chamber presidents, and we get together and talk about the different issues. There are a lot of similarities, between all of us, but then so many things are so different. The way they handle things, what's important to them. You mentioned Bernie. One thing Bernie also has is I-10.
Yeah.
281 kind of on one side, pretty close, and then I-10. Once you add a major highway, and 290 is not it, but if you have I-35, if you have something, it changes the game. If you have a university or higher education, changes the game. If you have a hospital, changes the game. If you have, and going back to, I can't remember when the question was or what it was exactly, but attracting businesses to come. We don't offer incentives like they do along an I-35 corridor, or we don't have any opportunity zones, which has to do with moving things in and out. So part of the reason, and grade my paper, but when Deep Eddy was here, part of the reason the production moved out was it quickly outgrew 290. So if you remember, 18-wheelers would be parked in the turn lane to get in and out. They don't have to deal with that in Buda because there's so much, it's right, but there's rail, there's
Well, and Buda
Freight,
as a
everything.
city does a fairly decent job at incentivizing
That's-
businesses.
that kind of
and
goes
they have
back,
an economic development
the tax
corporation
breaks.
that's separate,
Mhm.
and it's
Right.
so what it looks like in Dripping Springs, they'll say, well, we offer incentives, we'll waive your permit fees. Well, that's $102. That's not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great.
Thanks.
They're trying,
but,
but we're
yeah.
but we're not at that level, and that's not the fault of Dripping Springs. That's just a byproduct of where we are. We just can't offer those types of incentives.
But the town's growing. It's growing leaps and bounds. What do you guys think the town looks like in 5 or 10 years? You ever think about? You
Wow.
probably have had
One
discussions
solid-
about that, right?
One solid.
Do you think
Is
we'll
that what
be
you think?
connected from Belterra to Drip? Do you think that connection is going to be
I
TxDOT?
think so.
That is the glue that's going to bring. Because when I first moved here, I called this area right here in Drip the Hatfields and McCoys, and I call it the Great 12 Divide. So because we lived in the newer area of Dripping Springs, and people still say, people still say that we're not Dripping Springs, even though we don't pay Dripping Springs tax. But my kids, I'm in Hayes County. My kids went to Dripping Springs schools, and just for shits and giggles, sometimes I will write Dripping Springs, and and my
And your mail will get there.
and my mail will get there because it's the zip code. But so I'm wondering if TxDOT or if that highway is going to be that connection, because we kind of feel like two different cities a little bit.
But so we just did a ribbon cutting at the new liquor store, Salute Liquor, just west of Bell Springs. I hadn't been out there apparently in a minute, and there's so much that's popped up: Arrowhead, Bunker, Ranch, all that out there.
Yeah.
I mean, Dreamland is gone, but there's so much development coming that way.
The nail salon, I went over there to the nail salon.
Yeah. But I don't think it's stopping at 12. I think it's going to end up being more like a 165.
Yeah.
I mean, not in 5 years.
Yeah.
But eventually.
I think though it's because when I moved here, there was east and west dripping, and Ranch Road 12 was the delineation there. And now it is that delineation is pretty much gone, and it is 78737 and 78620. That's the delineation. It's just sort of changed over time.
Don't forget 619.
Yes, yeah,
Friends and Driftwood.
yes, that's right. Yeah, but it has changed a lot. It's all that development has made, like Michelle said, that's one side of dripping, and then here's the other side. This whole section here, where we're downtown.
And the school district will help that a lot. That new high school will help, I think.
Is the school district still the largest employer here in Dripping Springs? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so are you seeing more people that are catering, I mean, as far as the demographic, how has the demographic changed in Dripping Springs as far as the age group? Are we getting younger?
It's getting much younger.
Really?
Yes. I think we had Aaron Farmer from the retail coach at our last chamber luncheon, and he was saying, I think the average age or median age, I forget which, I think he said 44, where it used to be
Are we the old people now?
100%. I just chaperone.
You be quiet over there with your laughing and your
Young whippersnapper.
But yeah, I think it is getting younger and younger families, and they're,
Well,
they're,
think about
they're
how
plugged
old
in.
we were when we first moved here. I
Exactly.
mean, I was
Yeah.
how old? I was 30. Gosh,
I was in
30.
my late 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
30 something. I don't remember how old I was. I don't even remember how old I am right
12.
Wait, I'm trying to do math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beep, bop, boop.
Not working.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys if you could change one thing overnight about the local businesses here in Dripping Springs, that regardless of politics and red tape, you could just wave your magic wand and change it to help businesses out here. What would that be? What's the big obstacle that you guys constantly run into?
You first.
Yeah.
Really, and I don't mean this in an offensive
You're on the way out.
Come
So
on.
just say it.
Just say it, Eustacio.
because it was a learning curve we had to learn too, and that's just to get out of your own way. Listen.
Yeah.
The best part about here and our community, our business community, is that you can stumble, you can fall, you can trip up, and as long as you continue to show up and be plugged in, we will continue to show up for you, so try things, listen to your customers, listen to your fellow business people, try, just fall.
Don't be a jerk.
Don't stay in your box, sky's the
That
limit.
is huge, Eustacio, because I think too many business owners, they go, well, I tried that and it didn't work, and they get all defeated. Like, okay, well, but part of being a business owner is going, well, that didn't work, but get that out of there.
Right,
What are we going to try next? Let's try something else. Michelle used to get on me all the time about that. She goes, quit reinventing the wheel. And that's true on a certain level, but also you got to constantly try something else just to see what works better.
Just to see, and if you don't have to worry about regulations or stuff like that, and money's not an issue, like in a perfect world, you just want your business to flourish, sky's the limit. Try anything, try everything.
Failure is not really failure. It's you just haven't been successful yet.
And
You
it's,
just
and
gotta
it's
keep
only a
doing it.
failure if you don't learn from
That's
it's how you
exactly
respond
right.
to the perceived
That's
failure.
I
exactly.
like what you said though, Susan, about you know how to make pies, right? And you're really good at making pies.
Really
You
good.
aren't necessarily a business person, and that's okay. But there's a network of people that are willing to help you
Right.
and to help you. And Steve doesn't know how to make pie, right? He's the introvert extrovert of the group.
I know how to run a business, though.
He knows how to run a business. He does. He absolutely does. And that's why I've been with him for 11 years, here doing all the things that we're doing and trying to reinvent the wheel at the same time.
And I think going back to that, recognizing that the world, life around us, it doesn't stay the same.
It's not static.
It's so dynamic. It changes almost daily, and whether that's worldwide impact, whatever it is that's impacting how business runs, how the way the town is, the way people feel personally, whether how much they paid for gas or whatever it is, all those things impact what you're doing. So kind of, I think too, recognizing what you can control and what you can't, and focusing on how it's impacting your business specifically, and don't worry about all the other outside stuff, because you can't change it.
One of the big things that I think are going to either start impacting a lot of business or will impact a lot of businesses is AI. And it's coming, whether you want to or not. We just had this full discussion about this yesterday with an organization that Steve and I are with, and it's like either 2 to 5 years, what does our business look like? And so either you establish yourself as the expert, Steve is going to fight for you. He's not a computer program. He's going to get on the phone and he's going to find that vendor and he's going to do whatever, something that AI is not going to be able to do. So how are you guys merging that AI technology into kind of what is happening? Your business could be replaced, so how do you fight? How do you stand above the rest?
I think for us, we tried to do a luncheon talking about AI, and we didn't get a great turnout. I was surprised by that, because I feel like everybody's impacted, and what can you do in 20 minutes? But I think there was great information about different places to look for what kind, it's not just ChatGPT. You just can't type in, make this paragraph
proofread
better.
This sentence.
It's there are so many different types of AI out there and how they can benefit your business, and I think don't be afraid of it. I think just dive in, because it's going to change, and it already has changed so much of how the world works. It's
some of it for the
crazy.
good. I think it was you that said it yesterday. I can't remember if it was you or if it was Todd. He said, can you imagine a world where we're fully like in a Waymo, or we're fully, like a car is fully driving, and then I can't remember if that was you or Todd, and said, in about 20 years, our grandkids are going to go, remember when my parents used to drive their own cars?
They had like a steering wheel and they turned it.
Like it's like the equivalent of us doing this to roll the window down, or pick the phone up.
Yeah, we had Adam Hood, who's a singer-songwriter that played at Swampy Tonk, and fascinating guy. And we had the other guy, the other musician,
Noah
Derek. And Noah Derek said, he thought that AI was not going to be good for music. And then Adam Hood came in and he said, look, it's not going to write songs, but it can help me make that song a little bit better, and I'm not scared of that. I can use that tool. It's another tool that I have. That really struck me hard. It doesn't have to run your business for you. If it's another tool you can use to make your business better, then use it. Learn how to use it.
Well, and from a business perspective, because Heaven Hill has really been big on this, getting ahead of it now to where it's helping your day-to-day and lessening your workload, that saves you money because it saves you time.
Yeah.
And you can then reinvest that money to develop those pieces of the business that AI can't touch, that AI can't improve.
Because time's a commodity. We've learned that in our business.
Yeah.
And it's true. That's especially right now, while the market really hasn't, it's still figuring out the whole AI thing and its impact. But once it catches up and AI is just the default, that money's not going to be there anymore.
No, that's right.
So getting ahead of it now, embracing it now, learning how to reinvest that money and that time that it saves you is really going to kind of pay off dividends in the future.
We do hear a lot, though, that a lot of people are worried that their jobs will become obsolete, and what's that going to do to the job market? And I have young adult
Yes.
children, like what does that look like for kids coming up?
There's a
as
term
try
they
to pick
use
their
in college,
careers?
AI proofing your career. Have you heard that?
No.
You AI proof your career, meaning you go choose a career path that won't be done away with by AI. They talk about it in colleges all across the country.
I don't see how they can do that.
Well, I mean, you go into careers that maybe
Nursing.
won't be.
Yeah.
They're perfect.
I mean,
that's a
nursing, I
perfect
think, is a great
example,
one.
Susan.
I mean, I think
Yeah,
that's
nursing.
Military.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
there are
there's
going to
maybe.
be jobs that AI cannot
Look,
do away with.
can
And
you imagine AI, sassy AI, me, Michelle? Good luck replacing me.
Yeah.
AI.
And
Good
you,
luck.
and you know what? Think about all the times in the last, in the time that I've owned all these businesses, where somebody's come along and said, you know what? When internet shopping takes over, then small businesses will cease to exist. Like, no, that's not true. You can still buy whatever you want from Amazon, but there's small business retail everywhere. They did the same thing back in 2007. The internet was it was already established, but they were saying, you know, in a couple of years, real estate agents won't exist. Well, geez, there's more real estate agents now than ever before. So I kind of think that might happen with AI. There's the sky is falling thing, but you're right, Eustacio. It'll kind of shake out, and there
And
will
you
be
have to
businesses that
embrace
go
it.
away.
And you
Yeah, I
can't
agree.
be afraid.
Can't be afraid of it. Don't
Yeah.
be afraid of it. It's not a negative thing.
Well, and real quick, one of the comments that the presenter made about AI was that it is designed to please you.
Yeah.
So it's going to work really hard for you. So let it work hard for you. I mean,
Mhm.
that's what it's
It's called
made
the
for.
HOTAX.
You do have to be careful though, because a lot of what it pumps out is not accurate, not true. You got to be careful with
Yes,
that.
you have to do your own
Yeah, you have
research.
to.
I also recommend that people pay if there's an option. That's one of the
Yes.
things that they
Yes,
recommended.
yes.
Don't just do the free
free one,
version,
yeah.
because also if you're putting, your all
Personal
your
information,
everything out there,
yeah.
it's out there.
Yeah, and there is a cap. My husband, he's an engineer. He's working in the AI field right now, and there is a cap. So there's only so much power
Yeah.
that they can do, because it takes up a lot of power to generate these AI. So
And it'll tell you. It'll I think we're done.
yeah.
We've gone far enough.
Oh, was that just me? I thought it just had enough of me. Like, Michelle, just keep
Says that?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
got mad at me the other day. I was trying to do a graphic for the closing, because part of what makes it easy is what would take me a month
I
going
know.
back and forth
Oh,
with the
yeah.
graphic designer, I can do in a couple hours, then send it to the graphic designer and be like, I want this.
Yes.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
make it
And
Tweak
make
this,
it-
make it better.
yeah, but it kept going and going, and I kept changing other things, and then it finally said,
You're done.
I think this is done.
You're
I
done.
suggest you
It will
make a
not
new
get
graphic.
better.
I'm going
Yeah.
to lunch.
Yeah.
That's
For
awesome.
sure. So tell us how people can become members of the chamber.
It's pretty simple. You can join right on our website, dstxchamber.com. There are join buttons in theory everywhere. I see one top right. You just, if you scroll back up just a little
There you
bit,
go.
see on the
Oh,
very
yeah.
tippy top right corner, like all the way.
Members.
Keep going, all the way to the right.
Am
To
I?
your other right.
All the way over
Oh,
there.
that
Yeah.
right. That right.
Way
Oh,
off
okay.
to the side of the screen.
Join, and then below member event, log in here or on our membership investment levels. There are lots of places on here that you can join. You can also call our office. Always happy to discuss chamber membership with people. There are a lot of times if somebody does, they're just discovering that they like making the pies, and they might call and say, well, I don't join the chamber. And I said, well, do you have anything set up yet? So sometimes I'm like, you're not ready yet. Don't do this
Yeah.
now.
Mhm.
Come back in a year or whenever you're ready. At this point, come back. But happy to discuss with people what level and what I think works best for them.
It's come a long way. Look at Eustacio, he's wearing a jacket. I've never seen
Look
you wearing a
at
jacket
that.
like that.
That was-
Man, fancy. I want to ask you my last question. Have you been targeting any types of businesses that you want to come here? Like Susan, you mentioned hospital and what colleges. Are there things that you guys have been like watching for and targeting and maybe reaching out to?
We have had a relationship with what used to be the Greater San Marcos Partnership. Now it's the Hayes Caldwell Economic Development Partnership.
Yeah.
Rolls right off the tongue. bless them. But they see a lot of what's coming. They act almost as the economic development arm for Hayes and Caldwell counties,
Mhm.
and I think they field a lot and they have sent a lot our way, but the reality is we're just not ready to see those big things before they
Yeah.
come. So I just don't think we're there yet in terms of us pitching. There was a group that I was a part of trying to get an ACC campus out here. This was before they went to Kyle.
Yeah.
But how that would be helpful to the people here, and
That would be huge. Yeah.
but again, there's not a lot of the other structure. We don't have public transportation. There's just a lot of things that we're just not ready for yet. So unfortunately, it's just
The redheaded stepchild.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're still struggling with infrastructure. The sewer capacity, water capacity. We're still struggling with all that. It's hard to attract a hospital that probably needs 500 LUEs when we can just barely service an office building that needs 3.
I'm headed to something like I don't know if it's a symposium or what it is, but it's in San Antonio. I think it's next week. All about the Edwards Aquifer and how that impacts what's happening here from a development standpoint. So
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Well,
you can come back and fill us in.
And every work day around 10 o'clock, our internet gets wonky, and I have equated it to they do attendance at the schools, and they're using all the internet, and I'm like,
That's funny.
they're doing attendance.
It goes down for about 10 minutes.
And then it comes
pops
right back up.
Yeah.
But, I have to say, from Steve and I, we are a 3-time member of the Chamber, and we are proud to be, we think, the only podcast member of the Chamber. But thank you guys so much for the support that you have given, and also for your service, Eustacio. The fact that you are going to be so missed in this community, we're very sad.
We hope you come back and visit at least sometimes.
Well, but can I just say, I have a kung fu grip on him at least through the end of the year.
Yes.
Because he's going to finish his term.
Oh, good.
And
I'm glad to hear that.
Deep Eddy plans to stay members of the Chamber, even though the tasting room moves. But I'm speaking for you, but I know you'll be happy to still help out with businesses and still be available for all the things.
You both are so valuable in this community, and I wanted to reiterate something you both have mentioned, that in this day where people are going after clicks online, and people that follow them maybe in New York or whatever, you go to one of your chamber events and meet 1 or 2 people and develop a relationship that can build your business bigger than just about anything you can do online. And I applaud you both for setting that up and being so successful at that. It's so valuable, and I hope everybody appreciates it.
Thank you, and you guys have been fun to watch too.
I love listening.
Come a long
Never
way,
a dull
haven't we?
moment either.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I'm the fun one.
Coming soon to you is a HOTAX.
Pay
If I
directly
can
to
just-
Michelle.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Get on my soapbox 1
Yes.
minute.
Yes.
And that is to thank Susan Kimball, because I know we talk about how awesome the Chamber is, and I know we talk about how great of a leader Susan is, but 700 members.
I know.
She knows probably every single person who walks through that office or who comes to a luncheon, or she knows their business, she knows their story, she knows their struggle, and it's always how can I help? How can I help? And you talk about my service. I felt like I learned this sort of service mentality, this network mentality, this care for community and business from Susan. So I think she is tremendously underappreciated.
Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't
So
cry.
many great things.
Well, and okay, now I'm going to fire
you can go
right
back.
Yes, because having your commitment, not just with Deep Eddy, but you are someone who has jumped in with both feet for so many organizations around town, and including, Mal and Michelle and the podcast and all the things. You're going to do great things, and I just can't wait to see what happens. You'll be a little bit further away, but like I said, the kung fu grip, and I thank you for all your dedication and support.
100%, and we so appreciate the support that you have given us and believed in us from a podcast standpoint.
Honestly, we could not have built this into what it is without your support from Deep Eddy. Yeah, it was invaluable.
You've allowed your sponsorship and your advertising with us has allowed us to tell so many people's stories here in Dripping Springs, and that alone is such a gift. So thank you. Even though you don't know that, you maybe didn't think you were directly involved in that,
100.
you 100% were. So thank you so much.
God, all three of you are all teary-eyed here. I feel a little left out. My little hard heart is just I'm not getting the tears going here. But well, you two are like the dynamic duo. You've really done such a great job with the chamber, and I'm so happy that you came and spent some more time with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Having us. This is so great.
We're really, really good.
Yes.
I enjoyed having them both back.
We're
on.
really going to miss Eustacio and what he brings to the table with the
Yes.
chamber, and with Deep Eddy being here. And hopefully we can figure out some sort of arrangement.
Yeah, we want to help them continue to grow, and they've helped us grow, and it's been a great partnership.
It was a
so-
love fest right there at the end, wasn't it?
It really was. Everybody was getting a little choked up, a little teary-eyed, and
Well, you could tell that he has really brought something to the table.
he really has
to the chamber,
Yeah,
so-
and I know Susan's going to miss him tremendously, and I don't know if she'll be able to find somebody that's as good a fit. Those two work together so well.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare these days. So, but anyway, whatever they end up doing over there at Deep Eddy, we wish them the best of luck. I'm sure they'll be successful in whatever venture they go with. But a couple quick things going on here in town. One, on Monday, my wife got home 15 minutes early from her drive from downtown Austin
Oh,
because the freeway, the never-ending project freeway through Oak Hill, is
it's
now
open.
actually open.
Open.
It's how you used to come off come off at 290 and go down to surface roads around William Cannon,
Mhm.
and then there was all those lights and
Mhm.
it back up. Now you're on 290. You stay on 290 on freeway all the way until you pass that apartment building, and the very first light you hit all the way from Mopac is at Circle Drive. The second Circle Drive, not the first Circle Drive, the second Circle Drive.
I saw people griping and complaining about that already.
How could they complain?
Because they were saying, oh, well, now it's going to be a bottleneck at the end of where the highway ends. And blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Those people could win the lottery.
Did you understand what I said?
Yeah, I get it. Those people could win the lottery and complain it's not enough money to pay the taxes. Well, yeah, I won $5 million, but I have to send $1 million to the IRS. Like, oh, yeah, you got big problems. Mr. or Mrs. $4 million in the bank.
Gripey griper pants.
Yeah, God, these people, they're so complaining. Yeah.
I know. I don't complain at all, by the way. I just am a
Never, Michelle.
freaking
never.
delight. I'm a
Yeah.
delight all the time.
Well, anyway, I'm excited about that. That is going to cut down that commute coming in from Austin, and it finally made it seem all worthwhile. All those headaches, all those traffic jams, all those lights we've sat through, you go, okay, now I get why they've extended the freeway.
You know what I also thought of? Somebody else said, to kind of piggyback what we were talking about, business development in Dripping Springs, someone said, well, now with the highway open, they could just go to Target in 10 minutes instead of building a Target. It's like, okay.
What is wrong with people?
You want it alphabetically or numerically?
I know.
Like, I'm going to start making a list. I'm making a list.
Yeah, this is another reason I don't get on Facebook much anymore.
Yeah, I love reading the comments more than I love.
You know what? I think that has been happening a lot. People, I'm not necessarily going to read the post here, but I want to hear what all the naysayers are saying. Yeah,
especially if they don't give you the whole story. Like, someone's like, okay, who's going to be the hero? And when it says, like, link in bio, who's going to be the hero? And tell me the synopsis of the story. And you're like, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. One other thing that happened this past weekend, Suds Brothers, so at the new car wash, which is just past City Hall.
But the water, Steve.
Oh my God!
It's recycled
what they
water.
say, they recycle 80. I think it's 85% of the water they recycle. So, in 10 years, a little less than 10 years, we've gone from having the nearest car wash be in Bee Cave. I remember I used to drive out there like once every week or 10 days to get my car washed at Bee Cave across from the H-E-B.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have 3 car washes, real car washes in Dripping Springs.
So, not to be gross, but why couldn't they do the same thing with a laundromat? Why couldn't they recycle the water in a laundry? Because we desperately need a laundromat here.
I think that takes a lot more processing than water that's being used in a car wash. wash, I think. You probably filter that out pretty quick. It doesn't need to be, you're putting it on clothes. You got to get rid of all the bacteria and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's probably a lot harder to
I don't know. That's an
reuse.
interesting business proposal. Hey, anybody want to start a laundromat? Because
Yeah.
sometimes I want to wash a big old comforter.
It's the we talked a little bit about it in the podcast with Susan and Eustacio. It's the wastewater. You
Yeah.
got to have a huge amount of wastewater capacity. The city they don't like to give those LUEs out very easily, and so I think you need like 10 for a laundromat. Which the building we're in, the office building we're in, we have 3.
Okay, you just said something and I don't think I fully understood. The LUEs, that's about wastewater, not about the water coming in. It's about the water going out.
Yes, it's called LUE is living unit equivalent.
I knew what the word was,
Yeah.
but I thought it was all about the water.
It's a formula to do with how many bathrooms you have, how many people you have in the facility, and how much wastewater you'll produce. It's not necessarily how much water comes in. It's more about the water going out. And everybody that lives in this town knows wastewater has been an issue for a long time, and probably will continue to be an issue even as they expand that plant.
You just taught me something new again.
Look at that! You only been working for me for 11 years. You finally learned what an LUE is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of knew what it was, but I thought it was water coming in, not water going out.
No, it's all about
wrong end.
All about sewer. So I'm excited about the Suds Brothers coming in. It is very, very close to our house. So I've had a membership at Finish Line over there across from Belterra for a while, and that's a great car wash. But I might try out the Suds Brothers and see. I don't know if it's more of a full service or if it's exactly like that Finish Line. You drive through and then you vacuum it.
The club car wash or whatever.
Club car
wash,
yeah.
Finish
Line was the one. Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one. And I don't know the answer to that, but my son is giving me grief for putting my brand new car through there because he's like, oh, you're gonna scratch the coating on it.
It isn't very good for the finish, but also, what's the alternative that you?
Dirty car trash.
Yeah.
No.
I know, or there are some places in Austin that'll hand wash it, but geez, that's like half your day. You drive in Austin, you sit there for an hour and a half while they hand wash it.
I used to do that when I first started working with you. I would take your truck to go get it washed in BK's.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Like, sure, I'll go get your car washed.
Yeah, because remember you used to sit on that little porch in the rocking chairs and you just mess around on your phone. I know.
Get an ice cream cone.
Yeah, that's right.
Watch the car go through. Yeah, that was good times.
That was the good old days.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe we could go back to that. Maybe go back. So, speaking of businesses coming, businesses going, I told you about this place a while ago. It was called Painted Tree, and it was over off of Brody, kind of like where I think there was a Ross and a TJ Maxx, and there's like a whole little shopping center over there. And Painted Tree is, or was, this multi-vendor kind of concept with individual sellers. They had all their own booths, right? Almost like an indoor flea market or antique mall or something that was all individual.
But it was
bougier, upscale. I got a couple of UT things there. They had some really...
It was like an Etsy, but in person.
Exactly. That's exactly... It was a brick and mortar Etsy kind of thing. Unfortunately, they filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and it was an immediate closure on April 14th, and it left these small business owners, these small creators, local people, kind of boutique-style shopping people. It left them out in the dark. Wow. They had, I think, 3 days to come get their stuff and get it out of there. I think that is really sad, and it's a good indication. I think that they ran their business rather poorly, from my understanding, because even prior to that, it was vendors were complaining about how they were getting paid, and
that was when you mentioned that to me. The first thing I thought was, geez, you have to have a really tight accounting system in that. Because I drop off a dozen of whatever widgets and you sell them for me, and you have to keep track that you sold 6 of those and then pay me, and I'm sure there's a commission.
So there's a lot of paperwork. What I noticed is, like, if I would walk through the little shop, I mean, it was big. Actually, I can't remember. I think it was in the old Babies R Us or something. So it was like that kind of size, large retailer. Yeah. And so I'd walk through, and I'm like, oh, this is a cute little dress, and I'd go and find, oh, this is a cute little bow for my granddaughter, and oh, these some freeze-dried candy. and you'd go up and the price tag had, I guess, the vendor number, and they would associate that with whatever. But yeah, I just think it's really kind of sad that these small businesses are losing out. I have seen some of these larger businesses saying, look, I know that Painted Tree has closed, and we would welcome to have you, like some of these spas and whatever.
Oh, yeah.
We'd welcome to come showcase your stuff and, like a pop-up.
Right.
That's what I was kind of asking Susan and Eustacio, is like, why doesn't the city encourage more pop-ups? Like, sometimes Congress Street is notorious for this. I remember when Lululemon was first really big, and they did a pop-up Lulu right downtown
So is
Congress.
it like they set up a couple easy ups and
No, they will short-term lease
like,
for like 3 months.
Oh, okay. And they build it out.
It was before they were building the domain.
And they showcase everything, and okay.
Yeah, they just
That makes sense.
they kind of bring their tent style pop-up
I think the
to
city
indoor.
would probably allow that. The problem would be getting the permits to do the construction.
There you
That's-
go.
I
It's
know,
just
I know.
all about the stupid permits,
Well,
and it doesn't.
I'm mentioning the Suds Brothers car wash. The story I read, it took them 4 years to build that car wash.
Well, remember poor Pigpen? How long it took them?
I know. There's got to be some. We need to get Bill, the mayor, back on to talk about how you expedite some of that stuff. I know it's not all the city's fault. Some of it has to do with the architects and the designers.
Yeah,
and
but think about it, Steve. For 4 years, you're investing in a business. What are your holding costs for those 4 years?
thousands and thousands and thousands.
You've already
of
bought the
dollars.
property or the land
I know,
or
and
whatever
it's
you've
not
bought.
producing any income, and you're paying engineers
Taxes.
and architects and taxes and permit fees, which aren't that much, but you're paying all that stuff before you can even bring in a dime.
So
you
the
gotta have
city-
really pretty deep pockets to do something like
I
that.
feel like the city is almost encouraging big box stores because they have the pockets to do that versus these small creators.
Yeah. Well, that's evidenced by Target, because look, Target, I think they took a year to make sure that they could build what they wanted there, but they're already getting ready to turn dirt over there at Target.
They already did. I go by there all the time.
I saw that they had staked it out. It looked so. In a year, they went from, hey, this property might work okay.
They've
Let's put
taken
it under
trees out.
contract. Yeah, let's put it under contract. See if we can build what we want. They closed on it, whatever that was, January or February, and here it is, end of April.
They're clearing trees.
They're clearing trees.
Yep.
They're getting ready to start construction.
Yeah.
You're kind of right. They got the pockets to do it, and they can put together a team that can take advantage of that.
Well, I want to give a shout out to a couple of local
Yes.
people that we've had on our podcast. One is at Monkeys, Ilona
Yes.
Appleby. Like
Yes.
she does a great job. I know Monkeys is kind of a larger franchise,
Uh-huh.
but go visit her.
Their social media.
Give her
really
some
good.
absolutely Orit over
Yes.
at the Dugout.
Yep.
Go visit them. Of course, we always mention Pigpen and 12 Fox, but I'm
Yeah.
talking about like kind of these smaller retailers.
Yeah.
Monkeys for one. So we have the Drip Swag Shop that
Yeah.
is opening in right by Summer Moon, and that is Katie Walker,
Yeah.
and Katie's brother is my son's brother-in-law. So
I'll keep
it's
track
kind of
of that.
yeah. But
She was on the podcast. I was going to look to see.
yeah, she was on the podcast. So she's going to be selling all this spirit apparel and gifts, and it's like baseball and football, and it's not only Dripping Springs apparel. So people were like, is it just a Dripping Springs store? No. There's going to be every collegiate store, and probably she's going to pull in a lot of the other high schools that are around, and baseball teams, and you name it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she'll even do, I think she even does custom work too,
Yeah.
T-shirts and hats
Oh,
and
yeah,
whatever
I think
else.
she does. I think you can go in and get a quote for some custom work. But she's got some cool stuff. Baseball, spring and summer T-shirt, kids and tots, accessories. And Ian and Christine, their company.
Yes, Ian and Christine for Sure Hill Country Kids.
Yeah.
They do a great job also. So look, I like big box stores too. I'm not gonna lie. I like big box, and I do not like. But I also
I like big box, and I
and
cannot lie.
And I like. I'm a Marshall's connoisseur. I also like little boutiques, and just go support some
I
of your
do like
local.
supporting local business because you and I know how hard it is to run a small business, and they need people like us to go and support
I went to the
them.
Texas Gadget Store the other day just because you told
See?
me about it.
Isn't that
And
great? Isn't that a cool story?
I got Ian his birthday present. And guess what, guys? They do military discounts. So just wanted to let you know.
There you go, yeah. And they're super nice over there. But, think about that too. We have Mazama and Time and Dough. Starbucks is great when you need coffee on a run, but I guarantee you Starbucks doesn't care as much about the revenue that comes in at their Dripping Spring store as Mazama and Time and Dough and some of these other coffee shops.
Well,
So,
you know what else is a small business? Mallet Integrity Team.
That's right, yeah. So
don't forget
spend
about
money at the Mallet Integrity Team, please.
Or just if you have, an extra couple $1,000s, you just don't know what to do with it.
Yeah,
you
just
could
send it our way. Yeah.
Send it. Oh, you can just send it. Address Michelle Lewis.
Yeah.
2 L's. Yeah.
And lottery tickets.
And
lottery tickets.
Lottery tickets. Yeah, that would be good.
I have a couple sports stories I wanted to run through real quick. I was kind of surprised when I read this. The Texas Ironman was this past Sunday in the Woodlands. And for those of you, most people probably know, but an Ironman, it's an actually official organization that puts on Ironmans. It's a 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike, and a marathon run. And this Brazilian triathlete, Mara Flavia, she was on the swim portion of the race. I've since found out that she had the flu going into the race. But she was on the swim, so 2.4 mile swim. That's a pretty sporty swim. That's quite a ways. And somebody was swimming next to her, and she just disappeared under the water.
That's so sad.
Yeah,
How
it is
old
very
was she,
sad.
Steve?
She's 38 years old. And
beautiful woman.
Yeah, beautiful, and had a pretty good following on social media. People looked up to her as a mentor for triathlon. But the person that saw her disappear under the water swam over to a kayak. The lifeguard on the kayak got in the water, tried to find her, couldn't locate her, and after the race was. They called in some lifeguards and a dive team, and they were finally able to retrieve her body in about 10 feet of water. But it's very sad. And immediately after this came out, the race organizers put out a post saying, our condolences to the family. We're so sorry this happened. And people started calling for all these things to happen in triathlon. They were saying things like, people shouldn't go into the water without some kind of life vest protection thing.
How do you swim like that?
You can't.
Floaties.
Yeah.
The arm floaties.
Yeah, that the race organizers should have stopped the race as soon as somebody was reported. Which I want to point out, if you've ever done a triathlon, it is absolute chaos the entire time it's going on. When you're in the water, I'm a fairly good swimmer. Even on a mile swim, I'll pass 200 other swimmers. There's so much going on. And so somebody's saying, hey, I saw this person go under the water. Those two people, the swimmer that reported it and the lifeguard, might have understood that's what was happening, but that lifeguard probably didn't have a radio. By the time they got out of the water, it's pretty common for somebody to be standing there as a spectator saying, I didn't see my wife or my husband go by. Are they still in the water? Well, yeah, there's literally thousands of people doing this race. It's chaos.
I do have a suggestion or a question if they actually do this. I know that when you run, because doing the run by the creek, right, there's chips in your what are they called, bibs?
Yeah.
So
they don't work in the water, though.
But do they monitor you when you come out of the water? So if that person hasn't come out of the water, they would be able to monitor.
Well, at that point, it was obvious there was a problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, a 2.4 mile swim, even for a decent swimmer, that's a really good swimmer. I think the best swimmers, the pros, might do it in close to an hour. But
you're swimming for an hour?
Yeah, before you get on the bike for 5 hours and then do a marathon, yeah.
Okay, look.
The swim is actually the easiest portion.
I have a floaty and probably a cocktail in my hand. Do they allow that?
Yeah.
Do they allow me to
No floaties. But, I mean, it's a terrible tragedy, and I wish it had never happened. But I also think that one of the reasons people are attracted to these extreme sports is because of the little bit of the danger. It's challenging. It's something that you have to strive to do, and if it was easy, then everybody would do it. And so I think it's good for the race directors to look at every way to keep everybody possibly safe, but I also think that you can't kill the spirit of the sport, which is it's hard, and that's why I want to do it.
I mean, it's the same thing like with F1 racing,
Yeah, a perfect example.
Or even NASCAR. I mean, look at one of the greatest racers ever, Dale Earnhardt, died in.
And they made safety better after that crash. And I think you always should be trying to make things safer, but you also don't, NASCAR could have said, okay, we're going to speed limit all the cars to 50 miles an hour. Well, you just killed the sport.
Well, that leads up to a good point, though, Steve. Then what? I'm sure they're having multiple meetings because I'm sure attorneys are going to be involved at some point, right?
Yeah.
What does anything come up the top of your head as far as what safety measures could have been done?
I think probably what will come out, probably with Ironman, they are one of the few races that still do what we call a mass start, which is everybody stands on the beach and the horn goes off and 200 swimmers go into the water at the same time. It's chaos like you would not believe. There's kicking and punching. I mean,
what?
Yeah, you have swimmers swim over the top of you. It's just a mass of bodies because you're all going in the water at the same time.
How did I not know this? That'd be really cool.
You should pull one up, a mass start in a triathlon. But what a lot of the less serious races have done is what they call a time trial start, where you will go in a couple people at a time. So to your point, there's a chip, and you cross the start line where the chip timer is. And click on that. There's a mass start from the Ironman.
Well, it's going to YouTube. It's probably going to tell me to. Oh, there we go.
So you can see this is a water start. Not all the races are like that. So now go look at all those people. All those people.
That looks like a bunch of a school of fish.
It does. So can you imagine now? This kayaker here, surrounded by swimmers, and somebody says, hey, I just think this person here just disappeared under the water. You'd be a little skeptical, right? You could see that you'd be a little skeptical.
If I was on that kayak and people were swimming by me like that and I saw somebody I didn't like, I'd take that paddle and smack them on the head.
You can't tell who anybody is here. Look, they're all wearing the same colored swim caps, and but it gets spread out pretty quick. But I think anyway what'll happen is eventually they'll probably start doing time trial starts, which I hate because I'm a fairly good swimmer. This actually gives somebody like me an advantage because I'm not scared in the water, and so I can get out in the front of this pretty quick, where somebody else would be slower and try and find more open water.
Like that person right there. Oops.
Here, so I think that's probably something that'll come out of it, but it's a terrible thing. Nobody ever wants to see anything like that happen. But
they're dog paddling. That one was dog paddling.
Yeah. But you have to acknowledge one of the reasons all those people are doing that is because it's challenging.
Well,
there's an element of danger.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
That is really,
The second quick thing I have is, I don't know if you remember, about a year ago, we talked about there was a contest in China for humanoid robots to run a half marathon. And there was some just wonderful clips of robots exploding I saw one this morning where it was standing at the start line, like 2 feet from the start line, and the gun went off, and it took one step and tripped over the start line, and it exploded on the ground, and it was flipping all over the place. But one of the robots, which was 40% of them were not controlled by humans at all, so they were autonomous. They ran the whole marathon course by themselves. Last year, the fastest one was 2 hours and 40 minutes. This year, that robot did it in 50 hours and 26 minutes, which is faster than any human has ever done it. So if you think about how much that percentage of progression that is, it's gigantic. And so
great. Now they're going to have to say no robots in the Olympics too.
Well, hopefully there's no robots in the Olympics, but there'll probably be some group comes out that says you're discriminating against robots. You got to allow robots into the Olympics, but
you got to allow robots into the women's bathroom.
That's right. But I figure at this pace of technology, the way things are going, by about Christmas this year, we'll all be sitting in our chairs being fed bonbons by robots.
We're
so
screwed.
that's where we're headed.
The future is screwed. We're
Yeah.
screwed. Thanks to you also, I'm reading Everything is Effed.
Yeah, that's a great book,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, there's
Gives you some good perspective.
There is. I was learning more about Nietzsche than I ever thought of.
Yeah.
Like, there's the Nietzsche that I knew, and then
Uh-huh.
there's the Nietzsche, the misogynistic,
Yeah.
where it was being taken care of women, and
Uh-huh.
so that
I
was
need to
pretty
read that
interesting.
book again.
You told me you already read it twice.
I have read it,
not-
but it's been a while. It's probably been 5 or 6 years since I've read it. It's a great book.
So Steve, I ran across a really funny story. So people are complaining, and it's going to start happening again in the summer. People are complaining about these burn marks. They almost look like laser marks
Yeah.
on the roof of their
I've
car
not heard of this.
or their dash, even in their house, right? So
Huh.
they're charged strips is what they're looking like, and I mean they're actually burn marks, and even in the house.
Is
They're
it
on
something
visors.
underneath the.
Well, their visors, headliners, seats. It looks like a laser beam or even sometimes a cigarette burn, right? You'll never guess what it is. It's your water bottle that is sitting there that's reflecting off of
like
the
a,
water bottle,
like a,
like a magnifying glass.
You're kidding.
or anything reflective, even your sunglasses. Like I have sunglasses that have the
Yeah.
mirrored lens.
Uh-huh.
Even your sunglasses, so you need to hang those up, or like the little crystal dingle-dingles from your rear
Oh
view
my
mirror.
gosh.
So what they're doing is they're reflecting, and they're creating like a death ray laser beam into your car. It's even
Wow.
happening. So cars have burned to the ground. It's happening in houses also, where through the window,
Really?
like a crystal ball or something. So one of them, there was where's my story? The crystal ball caught the reflection, and it burned a house down. And they said this is why even in magic shops, the crystal balls are covered, because
No way.
they attract that light so much. Yes. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
I never even thought about it. I was like, well, that's weird. Aliens?
You
No,
know-
your water bottle.
Yeah. Have you ever noticed that a lot of Teslas, Holly and I noticed this, don't have tinted windows?
Oh, I didn't notice that.
If you start looking around, I don't understand that. I don't know if they have some special coating on them that does the same thing as window tinting, but I see tons of Teslas with, especially weird in Texas,
Yeah.
with no wind. You can see right through the car, like crystal clear windows. So that may be part of. I was wondering what this car is that
Yes.
you have the picture of. I wonder if that's part of it too. You don't, because if you have window tinting, I'm sure it cuts down
Yes, I'm sure
tremendously
it does.
on the potential for this.
I'm sure it does. But like, I've left like kids' toys or something,
Yeah.
or like my sunglasses or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That sun's gonna hit it just right. Can you imagine sitting in your car? It's even hot when you go and sit in, and now like your car
Or
has been.
you open the car door like, no, I smell smoke.
What is that?
What's going
What
on?
is that?
It's
It was my
car
water
on
bottle.
fire. Yeah.
So note to self: if you want a new car, put a water bottle in your.
or get a water bottle that is not clear, not glass, not. I guess does plastic do it, or is it only something that's glass?
I guess it's the water itself. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I mean, are you moving everything to glass? Are you worried about the microplastics
Oh
and?
God, I have so many things to worry about, Michelle.
I
It's like,
know.
that's on my list, but I'm sort of like, okay.
Is your brain full of
it
plastic
is.
beads
It's-
already?
Yeah, I was like, okay, of the 500 things that I got to worry about, that's 496. So I'm gonna get there, but right now I just don't have the.
I'm
brain
doing it on a
capacity for
micro level, like little by little, because
Yeah.
I even heard that Coke cans have a plastic lining
Yeah, I think
inside
they
of them.
do. I was buying those vegetables in the steamable bag at
Oh,
H-E-B
yeah,
for a
uh-huh.
while, and throwing them in the microwave, and they steam in like 4 minutes, and then I read something. So now I'm dumping those into a glass bowl and putting water in there and steaming them that way. But yeah, I know. I was like, God, I can only
It's hard.
seed oils. Is carbs good or
It's
bad?
hard.
Sugar will kill you. Caffeine will kill you. Oh yeah, now plastic beads.
Have
oh.
Pop-Tarts for dinner. You can't
Yeah,
can't
that's
go
right,
wrong with
that's
that. You
right.
can't
Well,
go wrong with that.
On that note,
On
yeah,
that note.
get rid of your glass bottles, and then you got one less thing to worry about.
And your car won't burn down.
And your car won't burn down. So, well, thanks for joining us, everybody, this week. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next week.